What up, gang? It is Eric here again, Traveling Trading. 30 days, 30 trades segment. We are going to review my one and only trade today, MGX. Wasn't the best of trades, but green nonetheless, and prime example of why you stick to the plan. All right, so we'll get into recapping this. It is December 9th. We are on day, what, 6? And this is the 7th trade we took. So let's see how that played out. All right, so quick little note too, I'll answer a few questions that you guys have for me in the chat room as well too, and some of the emails that I got um, as I go through this segment here. So hopefully this will be very informative for you guys to help you go forward into your next trade. So recapping the 30 days, 30 trades, guys. The goal is to spend the next 30 days doing at least one trade a day. If not, getting 30 days or 30 trades completed within the 30-day time frame, whichever comes first, either the first 30 days or the first 30 trades. Doesn't matter. Again, we're on the 7th trade and we're 6 days in. To kind of touch back on what we're working with here, I'm using normal capital that I normally use. We're trading with $10,000, no leverage, cash trades. And I'm going to mostly do bullish trades, especially since we're doing cash trades. It's not ideal to be shorting stocks with less than almost 25 grand, if anything. But I'm going to, I'm a bullish trader regardless, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, let's get into this. Full disclosure, guys, I'm going to be probably also getting ready to plan a couple of trips. I know a lot of you guys been asking me about the traveling side of the trading. Well, so fun thing is, because of what just happened, just broke, some good trading, goals there. So I'm going to go ahead and probably plan a trip to be trading for you guys, probably in Portugal, more than likely, especially after what just happened. But with my wife and bringing her plate and everything like that. But I'm going to be traveling to Portugal, guys, doing a little trading out of there, just to kind of show you guys it's different. I'll probably also be going to a few other places too, different time zones, trying to meet other different traders around the world as well too. But keep you guys updated with that, how that goes. I'll probably trade a lot a little bit while I'm there too, depending on the time zone and how much jet lag I have and everything like that. But mainly I'm going out there just to give you guys an idea because a lot of you were asking about trading and traveling, hence the name kind of thing. But and how that works out. I'll let you guys know what the setup looks like, how things are over there. Give you guys a good inside detail on that for you as well too. For those of you who are looking to travel overseas and hopefully get you guys some more good deals. If you haven't seen it on the website, there's some good links to good deals on there for you guys to check out too. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the trade there. Before I step out of this here, my wife kills me about breaking her plate. Yeah. So pretty much today was a pretty slow day for Monday, really. So again, my one trade MGX, this is pretty much where it's at right now, ended at here. And this is pretty much what it looks like throughout the day. We had some other alerts here, a couple of pops here and there, nothing too special. I mean, for me, for the most part, I kind of missed a lot of them. I sat on my hands, which I heard a lot of you guys did in the chat room too, which is really the best thing to do. Sometimes trading, the name of the game is just to wait. And this is pretty much how some of the start charts we're looking at that I ended out with today. Full disclosure, guys, I'm probably going to have CMRX, GLS, and CPIX on the watch list later on today. Of course, there's reports coming out for other large cap stocks like Amazon and Tesla that I put in there for you guys too to kind of eye as well. But yeah, this is pretty much what things ended out on the day. So let's get into the MGX trade. So with that trade there, let me actually pull it up here. So guys, this trade was pretty simple. Um, I got into this bad boy at $3.25. I believe it was alerted at like 8 o'clock this morning, but I didn't get in until very later on. I believe we got alerted. Let me see if I can pull up on the alerts for you guys. Let me drag it up over here. Not there. Let's see. All right. So the first alert was around $3 and change, looks like. So uh, not too bad, not too bad. I got in again at 325 because it was a little bit of a pullback um, after we got that first alert. Now we just waited for the setup, which was good because this thing here pretty much just dragged out the rest of the day. Just kind of glancing. So yeah, I guess MGX volume spike here at 331 was the earliest we got the alert there. This thing went all the way up to like 423. So one of the questions I think Arnold had messaged me was what made me decide to get into that trade as opposed to the other trades that had news and things like that. So guys, if you know on the in the course, even that I teach you guys, that there's a few things I look for before I enter in the trade, and one of the big ones, right, is catalyst. Okay, now catalyst is basically like news or something that causes a stock to move. Don't have to necessarily be news being printed out. It could be things happening in the world, et cetera, et cetera. Which again is why we have the alerts, you know. But a catalyst isn't the only thing that I look for. I also mainly, really one of the main things I mainly look for, catalysts help, but it's really volume and that level two activity, which is why I say it's important to kind of understand, you know, the cash flow as well too. Because when there's volume happening, movement in the stock happening, it's easier for me to get in and get out of the trade. I don't have to worry about waiting for orders to get filled, things of that nature, buyers and sellers pulling out, and a lot of fluctuation. I can just get in and get out. Not necessarily mean by scalping, but just getting in and out of trade much more easier and smoother as opposed to waiting for orders to get executed. So the volume on MGX after the volume spike happened, even the price action show you that most of the activity was going to be there throughout the day, which was pretty easy to read. So hopefully that answers your questions there, Arnold. Probably not in too much detail, but that's essentially the whole premise of everything. And again, in the course, I kind of show you how to look for things in like volume two and also like, you know, inflow, outflow, and cash fluctuations and things like that. But I could put some more in there for you guys if you want. I believe you do have it. I believe you do have the course, but if there's anything in there you want me to clarify, let me know and I'll, you know, make a video of it or cover it with you. So that's fine there. But that's pretty much what I looked for and made me decide to get an MGX as opposed to any of the other things and pretty much stop waiting on my hands. Okay. You don't have to take a trade every day. Even as we go through this 30-day trade segment, 30 days, 30 trade segment, I'm not going to probably trade every single day, guys. So keep that in mind. But when the opportunity is presenting itself, your risk to reward management is under control, your emotions are under control, and you feel like the odds are in your favor with your trading strategy, then take the trade. Okay. Live the trade another day. Same thing if you don't take it, live to trade another day. But that was the thought process behind that. So, got in this trade at 325, right? We got alerted with it at 818, which is probably around this time frame here. So we got alerted to it on this initial pop. Mostly we probably got, you know, alerted on it again because, of course, the break of the high at that point, which is more likely what caused it to, you know, accumulate. So obviously what I'm going to do normally around then, right? I'm going to wait for a little bit of a pullback, right? So this thing kind of just held up not too high, but roughly around the $3.48 range. So I got in at 325 because I felt like that was a comfortable range as it started to, you know, break down. And it didn't go any higher than that. So like obviously as you're drawing like trend lines, you can see this was like basically a triangle that failed to break, right? And if something's failing to break, the, you know, likelihood of you being able to get into that trade and have less of a risk to reward ratio is much easier, especially if the volume is still going. So obviously, just you know how to draw your ascending triangle, right? Boom. Well, not it's not ascending basically, it's descending. But once it breaks that, that's fine. So I had when I entered this trade at 325, you know, I like to give myself ranges of when to enter a trade. Same thing for the exits. For me, my look left. Once you enter in, or even if you notice this trade, let's kind of back up with that. Once you notice that there's a trade that you might want to get in and you have your trading strategy ready, it's time to manage your risk, right? What I'm always doing is looking left. I'm looking for low points to find levels of break and support where I'm going to be having my, you know, support, you know, stop loss going to be at. And it's mental stop loss. It's not a hard physical stop loss. I don't like to do those because market makers take those out. So my stop loss was after the initial first pop up. I figured after that, if it, you know, on the turn of the moving average conversion divergence or squeeze pro, whichever you're going to use, if it breaks that, then the momentum is not there for it, which is going to cause me to get out of the trade. So here for me, it was $2.56 or $2.50 range, roughly 260, right? Half a whole dollars are good key marks. I don't really use them that much, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of my times, my risk management is falling in between there. So 325 with a risk of, you know, 250 was okay for me. 75-cent range, perfectly fine, especially if it was going to go my way. So got in. Now, I believe Greg or somebody else asked me. I believe it was Greg that asked me this question. Like, because a lot of us was in this trade today, and a lot of you guys profit, which is good. You're starting to do better, but a lot of us have a little bit of trouble with either emotions or sticking to your plan. So if you're having trouble with letting the trade play out, the first thing I would say is go back and look at your trading strategy and make sure that you're comfortable with your strategy. Now, if the market is not playing to your strategy, doesn't mean your strategy was wrong necessarily. It just means that it wasn't the right, strategy to use, which again is up to you and as a trader which one's best for you to use, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean your strategy is wrong. There's no point of changing your strategy so much, guys, especially if it gives you an edge for the most part. Okay, but I can look at those and help you guys out with those if you need that as well too. But um, so if you're having trouble with staying in your stock and letting it play out, if it's not hitting your stop loss or getting to your profit take area, for me, if it's not doing either one of those, there's no point in me getting out of the trade. And that's how I was able to stay in this one for very long. So if you're having trouble with doing that, more than likely what it is, it's an emotional aspect, a psychological aspect of it. For some reason, you're not staying in the trade. Doesn't necessarily mean you're supposed to. You probably don't have a profit take area designated for your trade when you took it with your trading strategy. So ask yourself that. That's obviously you guys should be journaling and keeping ideas of this and reviewing your trades, right? But if you see yourself getting into your trading strategy, you get into a trade, if you are not letting your trade play out, then you're having a psychological issue or an emotional issue with your trade, which means you either don't really trust your trade, which is fine too. Not all trades are going to be right, or you're trading with too much leverage and the risk to reward for you is too much to where it's psychologically affecting you. Understand, guys, trading is going to be impactful for you independently as a trader because this, for all of us who do this for a living, this is your income, right? So you guys are too emotionally attached to your trades, unfortunately, if you're having that issue with letting your plan play out. But you only know that when you review your trades. So for me, there was no reason to exit this trade. Even though I was in a negative, I didn't hit my stop loss. Why would I get out of this trade? Even though it's turning down, are we at the 260 level yet? No. So why would I do this? Now, let's say you're trading, you're risking, 500 shares and you're having trouble with doing that. Cut your shares down, guys. That is the next step to do. If you feel like your trading strategy is fine, but you having trouble emotionally and psychologically staying into the trade, reduce your risk. That is the next step to do. If you're having trouble with the psychological aspect, guys, read stuff by Mark Douglas. I mean, read it again and again and again. Read that book again. Any of his books, they're all psychological trading books. They're really good. I've read it several times, okay, and I still sometimes go back and read it because it helps out, especially if I'm on like a losing streak or something like that. But reducing your risk is going to help you be able to stay in your trade because you know why? You're not going to be worried about losing that much money. Instead of you betting $100, yes, it's a small of a gain, but guess what? You stuck to your trade. You executed your trade. You're not emotionally attached to it because it's probably much easier for you to lose $10 than it is $100. Whereas for some people, it's much easier for them to lose $100 versus $1,000, and just so on and so on and so on. For me, I could take $1,000 hit on a trade, a couple trades, and be okay. But again, this is just where I'm at in my risk and reward. So understand that reduce your risk position size until you start to build that confidence again in your trading strategy and see it working. And if you don't see it working, then you need to go back to your trading strategy and find out if it's the entries or exits that's giving you the issue, okay? Or just your strategy in general and what you're doing. So for me, that was hopefully the thought process behind that. That was why I stayed in this trade there, Greg. I didn't need to get out because it never hit any of my, you know, risk tolerance. And then I took profits because the goal here was to try to get out around the $4 range. And that was just me winging it really. My very, very limit I wanted to take things is where I was at, either 350 or 370 in between it, but I wanted to shoot and aim for the $4 range, which again, it ended up playing out because as you can see, just holding this, rises up, comes down, rises up, comes down, rises up, come down, et cetera, et cetera. It just basically trended. So after the entry point there, let's move these little lines here. You can always draw more, but I just want to kind of give you guys an idea. Sorry, my computer is jumping around. So once I'm in it, draw your little trend lines, guys. What's happening here? It's just channeling up, right? So why would I get out of this trade? Okay, my mouse is jumping. This thing is freezing. Sorry, guys. It's getting very annoying. Gonna have to restart this computer when I'm done. But you got a whole channel in here. Even if you missed your entry point, yeah, it's more of a risk to, do this, but you still had time to get into stock on the downturns of it because you guys know that the price action comes in cycles and waves, right? It's going up. Buy orders are getting executed, buy orders are getting executed, and it's coming down. Sell orders getting executed, sell orders getting executed, buy orders getting executed, buy orders getting executed, sell orders getting executed. That's just the nature of the trade and how it goes. So you're seeing that trend play out, and even from here, let's say if you were monitoring this part, right? Even just in this time frame alone, after the alerts, you can draw your charts here and observe the price action. If you're not confident on what's happening here, then you need to go back and be doing your studying, you know, um, no matter how you want to do it. So your trend lines and just really just monitoring the price action, guys, is your friend, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. All right here from this point on, it just became bullish. No matter how far along you want to draw these lines, but it helps you as a trader in the beginning. So this right here is showing that it's bullish. And then when are you going to probably take your profits? It's up to you, okay? But that's pretty much how the MGX trade there. Uh, Ended that one with a good 27% gain. I'm trying to think if there was any other, sorry, if there was any other questions you guys have for me. Obviously, put them in the comments, email them to me, drop them on any of the socials, tag me in it. Doesn't matter, guys. I'm here to help you out as much as I can. But hopefully, this review helped you out. If you have any questions, let me know. But until then, let's get ready for tomorrow and stay green.